So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the first imperfection of this bike, I think, is the brakes. They don't inspire confidence. This bike has a single disc in the front and a drum in the back. Now, while for in-city and town riding they are quite adequate, they don't inspire much confidence at all when going at speeds in excess of 50 miles per hour and you suddenly need to brake. I'm always afraid my back wheel will lock up and skid. Sometimes it does that at slower speeds too. Now, Suzuki needs to take some lessons from Honda, which revolutionized its Rebel line, offering ABS brakes as optional. Now, having ABS optional brakes can also appeal to new riders, I believe. The second thing that bothers me about this bike is that it randomly stalls at idle. Now, it started happening a few weeks after I bought it. At first, I thought that it was my fault, me being a new rider and all. Then I noticed that whenever I would come to a stop at the red light, traffic or stop sign, the bike would stall at idle. And it did it quite randomly. Days, if not weeks, would go by without doing it, then all of a sudden it would happen. This randomness has prevented me from discovering the cause. Now, I read up a bit on this matter, and it appears that other TU riders have experienced the same issue. Now, theories abound as to the cause, some suggesting that the dealer might not have set up the idle settings correctly, others blaming it on poor gas, and still some others suggesting that coasting with the clutch in might be the culprit. Now, I'm guilty of coasting with the clutch in at times, but I do not believe it to be the cause. This issue is ongoing, and I will take it to my Suzuki dealer to further investigate on it. When I learn more, I'll fill you guys in. The third thing that bothers me about this bike is the tires, the stock tires. Okay, they're okay for in-town riding. At slow, reasonable speeds, they cope well with road imperfections. They really soak up nicely the bumps, cracks, potholes, grooves, etc. Other owners have said that the tires tend to age well, but overall they don't inspire confidence really. At times, especially when riding on the highway or at speeds over 40 to 50 miles per hour, they tend to slide on turns. And at times they don't negotiate grooves well. So as a rider, you can feel that they don't grip well, that they don't track well, especially if the road surface is uneven or patched up. Simply put, you can't trust them. This is more the case for riders who have experience with better, more trustworthy tires. Of all the two-wheelers I've owned, and they've been all scooters previously prior to this one, this is the one whose tires I trust the least. And the rear tire definitely needs to be wider, a little bit fatter, and have stickier grip. Number 4, the engine. I do believe that the engine is just not enough. It's not big enough. Now, the 249 cc's will do wonders on your daily commuting around town. You'll never feel wanting more power. But if your riding is a bit versatile, with the occasional itch for longer, speedier journeys, then you'll find yourself begging for a speedier horse, because no matter how much you whip or spur this one, it just won't go any faster. Not because it won't, but because it can't. Now, whenever I take my TU on the highway, I really get nervous, very nervous. Like today, for instance, I took it on a 75-mile, actually 140-mile highway ride with the speed limit of 55 miles per hour. But still, it's just, you can get it up to 65 miles per hour or even higher, but you'll feel nervous during the whole time. You will, and it tends to shake and buzz. So by the time your ride is over, your entire body will feel, shooken up. Now, at highway speeds, the bike wobbles, the handlebars tremble and buzz because the single-cylinder 249cc engine is constantly fighting for breath, trying to prove that this is indeed the little engine that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I know I can't. So yeah, Now, this is where again Suzuki can take some lessons from Honda. For instance, let's look at their, how they revolutionized their Rebel 250. In 2017, they came up, I think, with a 300 cc Rebel. I mean, wow, what a difference! They took it from 250 to 300. I think that the 300's displacement is 286, I think, cc engine, but it's a lot more powerful, and it definitely can handle the highways with the top speed, I think, of 85 miles per hour. Number 5, the gear gets stuck in neutral. Now, at times when I come to a normal stop or a sudden stop, the gear gets stuck in neutral. To deal with it, I sometimes rock the bike back and forth, and it works. Other times, no matter what I do, it simply won't go to the first. So I have to shift up to the second, which at a stop can stall the bike, and it's very, very inconvenient. Now, this issue with the gear getting stuck in neutral, I have a theory about it. Not sure if this is an issue that is limited to my bike or inherent in the TU. Now, my theory is that, as the gear, changing gears is a process, and when you suddenly stop a bike, you interrupt that process. So I guess that's why probably the gear gets stuck in neutral. But I definitely, I'm not sure if this issue is limited to my bike or is inherent in the TU. But I will bring it up next time I service it. Now, one last thing. To end on a positive note, now though it lacks a fuel gauge and a gear indicator and is drive chain, right? Aspects which are usually held against this bike, I have to say that I haven't found any of them bothersome at all. In fact, I'm kind of glad that it doesn't have a gear indicator, okay, with the exception of neutral. And the fact that it lacks a fuel gauge, well, it hasn't really bothered me much, really. And the fact that it's a drive chain, well, maintaining the chain is actually kind of a pleasure, and you do get involved with the bike, same as with the gears, because the fact that you don't have a gear indicator really helps you learn more about the bike, get to know the bike better, and I think it does improve your skills as a rider, especially if you were a beginner rider and this is your first bike. So yeah, those, in closing, I shared with you these 5 things, or shortcomings that I've come to notice in my TU250X, in the hopes that they will inform you somewhat when making a decision on the TU250X. Until next time, live and be well, ride safely. Bye.